Hello, hello. What an early appearance for us. But we're back with the Oceania 7K World Cup 2025. This is Sergio 85 and Potassium F coming into the booth for what is, I think, one of the winners bracket matches. A classic matchup, but something that we did not expect to see this early, if knowing the histories of these two teams. We have South Korea facing Malaysia. Well, how are you
Yeah,
doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good. Back from a bit of a break, so this is the first time I'm going to be casting a match this tournament. A little bit late into it, but yeah, as you said, South Korea and Malaysia. This is a matchup you'd expect to see in grand finals, typically speaking. That is, but of course, this year Malaysia missing one of their key players, being Chiwi, of course, from previous years, but still looking quite strong, managing to get a seeding upset last week over. I think that was Peru, was it?
Yeah, it was a it was a slight upset given that Peru was seed number 8, but still it's an upset. It's a good thing good thing going for them going into this weekend where it's not exactly an easy matchup.
Oh yeah, I mean South Korea is South Korea. This year, South Korea, I would say, is the most South Korea they've ever been, if that makes any sense. They have upgraded if that was even possible in the first place. You know, they've got Kai in this year, who did just take back the number one, as far as I know, from Dress Earth. So they're looking super strong. I don't think there's a single weakness or weak stage at all for South Korea this tournament. So no matter when you kind of verse them, it kind of feels a little bit doomed.
Yeah, indeed. Well, anyways, here we come. Here we go with the strategies here. Malaysia is protecting long note 1. Surprising that they're the ones protecting the inverse. Actually, wait. I shouldn't be surprised at all. Malaysia might be coming into this match as the noodle team here. South Korea will be relying more on their rice accuracy for the most part. Given their players, you have YZ, you have Dresser. Obviously, there's also Kalkai. And speaking of Kalkai, South Korea protected rice tree, which I expect really high scores on.
Yeah, so I think the kind of strategy here that I would go for Malaysia is South Korea has kind of been untouchable if they get the FCs, and they've been doing that quite a lot this tournament so far. So Malaysia's kind of gonna have to rely on mistakes from South Korea. And that might be one of the reasons why they protected LN1, like the full inverse kind of style maps haven't quite been tested so much in the past, at least. So maybe they're relying on South Korea to find a bit of a messy miss on some of those inverse patterns.
Indeed. Like, as far as I know, like the previous matches, South Korea has been skirting around really LN1. And this might be the match where, at least from my memory, like this is the first time I'm seeing them. This might be the first time I'm seeing them play the inverse chart. Anyways, here we go with Tsukiyomi Step.
Yeah, a bit more straightforward than the inverse for at least most players out there. This one being the density pick, but I think this is quite a big BPM jump from last week, is it?
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. The last one was like around 150, 160. It's one of those slower. Like if you're from BMS, because the song is pretty much from there, or Beatmania to DX, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's one of those slower chord stream songs that was charted into LNs for this World Cup. Like this one is a pretty sizable jump, but the thing about this one, it's going to be a bit more of a. I mean, what? Considering the previous LN density picks for this World Cup, like there's a bit more of those longer LNs. Like this is not going to be a glorified chord stream chart, at the very least.
Definitely some potential here that you could see either team getting a miss on. But for Malaysia, at least, I would be expecting South Korea to have this accuracy edge. So Malaysia, the onus is especially on them to maintain their full combos for as long as possible, because if South Korea doesn't miss, then you're kind of doomed.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. Anyways, the duos here, we have YZ1155 and Crusher, which I expected to be their LN team for this matchup. And then you have Malaysia, you have Nyokje and Yon Hong 187, two veterans here coming from Malaysia, especially Nyokje, the only returning player from that second place team from last year's edition.
Yeah, speaking of returning players, I think Nyokje has been in more MWCs than I can even count. So definitely a very familiar face for Malaysia, one that you would expect to be quite good at holding the combo, especially on these kind of maps. But here we go, the first map of the quarterfinals here.
Overall, the accuracy lead is on South Korea's side. It's still a pretty manageable one if you're Malaysia here. Malaysia needs to rely on their comboing for the most part, and Yon Hong might want to step up on that accuracy front as well.
Yeah, he dropped a little bit below 99%, but it looks like it's recovering a little bit, and Neo is actually beating Crusher out right now in South Korea, so the accuracy difference is not that big, but Neo does find the first miss. That comes with a quite big accuracy drop as well, down to 99.1. South Korea is going to be able to take a pretty large lead.
Yeah, it's a pretty big tank, like over 2/10. And speaking of big accuracy drops, Yon Hong as well dropping to just above 98.8. YZ being the first combo drop here coming from South Korea. So it's only Crusher with the only full combo here. But look at, like, there's a difference between the accuracy drops you saw from Malaysia. Like, you had 2/10, 0.3% down, and then there's YZ casually dropping just 100.
Yeah, did YZ even... I'm trying to remember what YZ's accuracy was before. It cannot have been that much higher than 99.7. That accuracy, that drop was clean. And then... Oh, actually, another trade happening on the bottom row there, Yon Hong and Crusher. So no full combos left, but these trades are most certainly going in the favor of South Korea.
Well, it was just mentioned somewhere that those two combo drops might actually be the first two combo drops of South Korea this World Cup. If that is true, that is notable.
I did actually look this up beforehand as research here. South Korea did not miss a single time last week, but they missed 4 times in the round of 32.
Oh, right. I remember now. Crusher did drop a combo on Rice on round 32. That is actually pretty funny.
But 10 anyways, full combos last week, though, is super impressive.
Yeah. Okay, Crusher is still holding to a pretty sizable combo. Everyone ending with sizable combos here. But look at that 8-200 come from YZ and only an island break. Neo also missing out on a full combo with 2 island breaks on their side.
Yeah, YZ being the massive outlier in this lobby here with the 200 count and the ratio half the 300 count of pretty much all the other players in the lobby. And that does quite a lot when everyone is finding those misses. So South Korea winning off of that accuracy at the start there, and they're not wasting any time, going straight into the protect. I guess this is just one of their most comfortable picks then. They're confident that they're not going to be missing at all on the core jack.
Okay, so just a funny thing. Kobe, one of the map pool selectors, mentioned to me going into this weekend is that, you know, quarterfinal score jack might actually end up higher scoring than round of 16 score jack. Like, this is a bit more straightforward compared to last week's. Like, last week's was a bit more spread out in terms of the core jack usage. This one relies more on anchors, so think maybe something like TLD but lighter, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So a bit trickier patterning maybe, but as far as the snaps are concerned, you know, it is a core jack pick. Accuracy is not exactly the hardest thing to come by. It is mostly about like the technique and the combo, and when you're talking about players of this caliber in this lobby right now, combo might not necessarily mean a whole lot. Because they're just going to FC.
Well, unless Malaysia has some plans as well of getting the high accuracies in display. I mean, they do have the players for it. They just need to be really consistent, especially facing both of these players in the South Korean side, which I expect to get really high accuracies at the very least.
But no, you made a good point there. Malaysia does have the players to keep a high accuracy relatively on this map. South Korea should still have the advantage on AC, but if they do find one of those combo breaks, then I think Malaysia is going to be close enough to be able to capitalize. We can see it already. It's only 1,000 points in favor of South Korea off the back of mostly Kalkai here.
Yeah, like Malaysia is just behind like Neo has already improved to a 98.8 level, which puts him like around 10th and a half behind Kalkai. Yonhong is just keeping tabs with Dressurf accuracy wise.
Yeah, both Malaysians on 99.7, the high 99.7s, I would say there. So yeah, Dressurf not really too far in front of the two Malaysians, but yeah, Kalkai 99.98, perhaps reaching.
Now the second half of this chart has denser chord jacking. Like you already see the difference from what we had for the first half. And everyone is still negotiating the chart just fine. Not many accuracy drops really. I guess the only notable thing to see here is Yonhong hitting a slightly early, but that's still within the 300 window.
We see some players increasing their accuracy here. Neo managing to hit that 99.8, and Dressurf managing to get all the way up to 99.91. So this lead, all the accuracy difference is kind of the same. So this lead is slowly going to grow over time. 7,000 points, still within hitting distance if there is a big mistake from South Korea. But there's only one section left. There's one really dense section at the very end of this map.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw 50 there from Yonhong, dropping them to just above 99.7. So that's pretty much the reason why the lead really increased to wherever it is right now. Kalkai still carrying that 99.97, doing very well. Dressurf as well with a double 99.9. So I'm pretty sure this is already going to be one of the, if not the top team score on this chart and this early into the weekend.
Crazy. What did Dressurf get at the start? Because Dressurf hit a 50 and a 200 at the very start of the map. Because that accuracy started at like 99.6, I remember. These ratios are kind of crazy, and you can see why South Korea decided to protect this. It's just like, yeah, we're not going to miss on it at all. So we just win because of that ratio.
Yeah, a very notable 300 counts here from both Dressurf and Kalkai. Malaysia, on the other hand, like if they had a different opponent, could this could have been their point had this been a different team. Different opponent.
This is not a very easy kind of style of map or map at all to be able to FC and get double FCs on. So I mean, as you said, most other opponents you would expect maybe to see a miss here or there. Malaysia getting the 2 full combos would be more than enough against a lot of the field. But unfortunately, South Korea is South Korea.
And now, speaking of a possible point for Malaysia here in this match, we have LN1. But regardless of this being their best opportunity to score a point in this match, they do have two players. South Korea does have two strong players as well.
South Korea has 4 strong players, I would argue, but yeah, they definitely do have as many as you want to throw at this one. But I think you said they haven't played any LN1 so far, was it?
Yeah, I think from recent memory, I think this is the first time that I'll be seeing them play LN1.
Let's see, going to be interesting to see how this one plays out then. I know Neo, the very least from Malaysia, is a really, really strong LN player, especially when you get to the really dense stuff.
Okay, so Crusher YZ going in for South Korea is what you would expect them to do for the Olympics in this match. No substitutions for Malaysia, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty much because Malaysia will want to get their strongest players in their team really play this one.
Yeah, I do expect Neo to be playing pretty much every map, and I think Yonhong has been playing every map of the tournament so far. Like, especially as we get into the harder kind of maps later on in the tournament, these two are the players that I expect to see for Malaysia more and more. Okay, let's see how they do on this one. The new, kind of new category this year for the map pools.
Oh yeah, this is the first time you were seeing LN1 being played in this World Cup.
It is, yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, for those uninitiated, if for some reason this is the first time you're watching the OCMania 7K World Cup, um, this year, especially for those who haven't watched since Grand Finals last year, we have a new category, LN Inverse, and you're already seeing everything pretty much about it. You're gonna be reading the negative space in between the notes. And it's a particularly tricky skill set, though it does seem that everyone is getting really good accuracies.
Accuracy is not something that I normally associate with Inverse, especially when we get into the harder stages. So these are, yeah, exceptionally high for a map like this. 99.5 average just across the board here. YZ with a 99.7 is crazy as well. But we'll see how it goes, because I do think this map has some really tricky patterns in the second half as well.
Yeah, it gets crazy at the second half, but actually, if you think about it, the scores, you'd expect them to go higher and higher for LN1, for the inverse picks, as you go further into the tournament, because the denser the patterning of the inverse, the more it meshes into the more straightforward charting, really, for the most part. This skill set in particular is a low scoring during the round of 32 and the round of 16, but you're already seeing a preview of how the top teams should be performing on this pick this weekend. You already see 4 full combos still happening right now.
Oh my god, how are they so consistent on these? We saw a lot of accuracy drop on those big sweeps, those big stairs before, but not even close to a combo break from any of the 4 players here. 99.5 for South Korea and 99.36 for both Malaysians. So small accuracy advantage is all that's going to decide this one, and another 4-way full combo in this match.
Yeah, this is this is nuts.
I mean, look at these. That was not that far off, honestly, for Malaysia. That was, like, you can see exactly why Malaysia would want to protect that one now. Seeing these scores straight up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good run for Malaysia. Again, had they been facing a different team, the story might have been really different, because we're still at that point in the World Cup where the inverse is still in the you can or you cannot part of the tournament.
I mean, that Malaysian team score would have been second if it was on last week's LN1. So
yeah,
definitely scaling well into the harder pools for sure. We'll see.
Now, YZ. Okay, Rise 6.
Rise 6, so they're going for kind of the more, I guess, comfortably patterned picks. You know, trying to pick the ones that they're more comfortable with getting the full combo, I guess, is the plan for South Korea, or at least it seems to be. And I guess that's a good idea, you know? We've seen they have had the full combos, or they have had the better accuracy, I should say, when they do get the full combos. So that is their number one priority, just be comfortable.
Yeah, comfort is, the more comfortable they are, they usually just get really ridiculous scores for the most part. Anyways, speaking of this pick, this is the faster chord scene pick. So in previous years, this would have been the Rise 3 in previous World Cups, but this time, since it's an addition due to the expanded pool for the quarterfinals, it's placed instead on Rise 6. Just to keep everything consistent for the most part.
And of course, this being the fast chord stream means that it is significantly higher BPM than the other chord stream, but at the trade-off of being a lot less dense. So since these players are, good enough to keep up with 192 BPM, I would expect them to be maybe a little bit more comfortable with the patterning here. And we can see so far all 4 players holding on pretty strong, but 99.9s for both of the South Koreans. Malaysia not too far behind with the 2 full combos still themselves. And actually, hang on a second, Kalkai with a few really messy misses there.
Yeah, it's a characteristic they're coming from Kalkai. I think the spacebar might have given them problems. Actually, that's another one.
That was
Like,
that
those,
last one was huge. That was 0.3%
yeah.
accuracy drop from Kalkai, and hang on a second, Malaysia on the verge of a breakpoint potentially. Still half the map to go. They need to keep up with these full combos. But I think now Malaysia actually has accuracy parity, I would say, with South Korea. So those misses are doing all the work.
Yeah, they're pretty much even with South Korean accuracy right now. Kalkai actually finding problems on those chord drills. As he's earlier, like those misses were pretty big. But what Malaysia needs to be careful now is with their combos. They still need to maintain these FCs because Kalkai has been increasing their accuracy really fast, and you already see the score difference.
Oh.
But that miss from Kalkai is not going to help South Korea at all. Malaysia, this is their best opportunity. This is their best opportunity to score a point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the end of the map already. There's not much time. I think they can afford a little mistake at the end here, but no, it's Kalkai again. It's going to be 2 full combos for Malaysia, just the one on Dresser for South Korea.
Ooh.
So despite... Oh, wait, what is that?
What is
Hang on, what's that
ratio?
score from Kalkai? Hang on, was that
Yeah,
like a keyboard issue?
it might be.
You can't get 0-200s with that ratio and 9 misses. I feel like that has to be some kind of hardware issue going on from that end.
But regardless, though, Team Malaysia taking advantage of everything, and this means that no more perfect tournament for any of the teams. Everyone has conceded a point in some form or another.
Yeah, the very first point that South Korea loses here, and Malaysia with a really, really strong team score on that pick. On a break point, no less. So now Malaysia gets their own pick to go for, and they still have 1 LN if they want to go for it.
Actually, I stand corrected. There are still teams that are yet to concede a point. But I think that's pretty much because of the schedule of the matches, I would think.
Yeah, when you're playing on a Friday, that would... You definitely have less of an advantage in that stat.
Yeah. So South Korea lost 1 point. Only 1 team in the top 3 are yet to concede a point, but they're still to play this weekend. Anyways, Malaysia picking LN3, and I'm pretty sure that this 1 point will at least help them get motivated a bit more.
Oh, for sure. I mean, win your own pick here, and Malaysia's cooking. They're back in the game fully. But, I mean, that's, of course, the big caveat here. You do have to win this point right now. And I don't know if South Korea is going to give you another opportunity like that. We'll see.
Okay, so seems like we have a different duo going into this one. Dresser and Crusher, which I honestly think is pretty sensible for the most part. Okay, so still no substitutions here coming from Malaysia, which we mentioned earlier is what you would expect.
Been the same two players the whole match so far. They have been playing very well, so I don't see much reason to switch out for Malaysia at least. South Korea, of course, having their rotating roster, which does help them out stamina-wise.
Okay, so seems like Kevin the room.
Back into it here, Malaysia's 3rd pick. This is the last LN map we're going to be seeing of the pool, so perhaps Malaysia's best chance of being able to take another point that we're going to be seeing.
They're coming from Crusher. It's going to give Malaysia a slight lead.
I mean, Yonhong also with a little bit of a bad start there. Oh, with a miss actually early on. That actually comes exactly at the 400 combo mark, which is a very unideal place to find a start miss there. But overall, still maintaining the accuracy for Yonhong, so this lead is not going to be that big in South Korea's favor.
Yeah, like Yeonhong's accuracy is not too. I mean, it was ahead.
Yeah, those second set of misses there again after that 400 combo mark for Yeonhong. So these combo advantage is really going to start stretching the lead here. 14,000 already in favor of South Korea, and South Korea do have that accuracy lead as well at this point. It's not a long map, so these misses are going to mean quite a lot. Malaysia's going to have to hope that South Korea find a mistake pretty soon if they want to be able to close this lead gap. But for now, it is still growing. 15,000 now in favor of South Korea.
Yeah, it's already starting to become pretty sizable now. There's only quarter of the chart remaining. While this might still be manageable for Malaysia, but you need really big drops now from either Dresser or Crusher here. Yeonhong has recovered from their accuracy drops, but as I mentioned, that's unfortunate.
You had to say his name. You just had to. And at the end of the map here, it is looking like another breakpoint here for South Korea as they manage to get yet another two-way FC on there, and Neo as well actually beating Crusher in the accuracy department. I think without those misses, this would have been exceptionally close. You actually see Yeonhong would have gotten maybe a better accuracy than Crusher. This would have been very close if without the misses.
Yeah, like Yeonhong could have really gotten a better performance there coming from Crusher. Really, like at least overall, like they were maintaining higher accuracy from Crusher before those drops happened.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, the FCs do matter a lot when you're in this kind of mid-game level of the tournament, especially against South Korea. And now this is 4-1, South Korea with a 3-point lead, and they get their own pick next. I wonder what they'll pick next. I guess if you're looking for the more straightforward ones, you could just go for Rice 2.
Yeah, Rice 2 might be their best bet in terms of comfort. But there's also Rice 5 that they could look into.
Oh yes, actually. Yeah, the OSU original.
Yeah, the OSU original for the MWC 7K 2025 quarterfinals weekend.
Love to see it coming out.
Called out.
Joseph is listening.
Getting called out.
Yeah. Even though you helped South Korea there.
And as far as I know, there'll be more. Obviously, there'll be more.
There's always going to be more. They never run out.
Yeah. Yep.
You have an infinite supply. As long as you keep casting matches, they will happen. Okay. This one actually, I mean, aside from being a good pick because of the OSU original status of the song, it, at least looking at this for a player like me, you know, lowly 5th Dan player in 7K, all of like the kind of mini jacks and bursts in this map seems like it could be quite chokeable. So I was thinking maybe this would be one that South Korea would leave until, you know, maybe later into the match, but we'll see if I'm wrong. Maybe it's a lot more comfortable than it looks.
It really depends. Like usually when you're at a decent, like at high level, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
at a high level.
Yeah, Joseph's kind of decent. He's okay.
Yeah, like usually at a high level, like shorts at around this level should still be in your quote unquote straightforward spectrum. Or a lack of a better word.
In your range. It's in your range. It's in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Maybe it's not. Maybe Dress Up isn't quite decent yet.
But anyways, these fast stairs is patterns to hit for the most part.
But yeah, transitioning in and out of these like kind of mini jacks and bursts and streams and stuff like that is something that at least players like me struggle with quite a lot. This is quite a difficult one to really get down. And we see some accuracy drops from the side of Malaysia as well. Yonghon down at 99.2, 99.1 now. And South Korea managing to maintain the lead despite the miss because of those accuracies that they're managing to hold. YZ.
Mini jacks giving Yonhong some accuracy problems, really, like how they're positioned. You see the 200s that they got were mostly from the mini jacks. Neo finding the first combo drop from the Malaysian side. Not much of an accuracy drop though, which is still a good sign for them. This is still a pretty manageable lead from them, but you need a breakdown somewhere here for South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, it does cancel out Dresser's miss from earlier, but oh, Yonghon missing as well. That's both the full combos from Malaysia gone. And this lead is going to get really big now.
Yeah, YZ on the other hand is still pushing. 99.85, really showing their caliber.
I'm just kind of not looking at YZ's screen as much as I can right now. I'm going to look at the other players for now, and we see still kind of the same accuracies for everyone else. Dressurf has managed to recover quite a lot, actually, at 99.76 now, pretty solidly beating out both the Malaysian players. As we're approaching the very last section of this map, somehow YZ increased his accuracy there, and Neo finds a little bit of a break at the end. It does seem like that is going to be it. One more point for South Korea on their own pick, managing to get that one full combo on YZ. And this team score feels like it should be a double FC, but it's not somehow.
It's not, yeah. Like
Yeah,
only
1983. It's like, oh yeah, they double FC'd then. No, okay. The accuracy is just that high.
Yeah. YZ 200s. Yeah, that's nuts.
It dressed up with 3 as well.
How do you beat that? Like, I guess if like the ratio was worse, that's still beatable, but what, 200, 300?
It's a bit much to ask for less than 2 and 3, like a combined 5 200s on a team, right? For a map like that, one where most teams, that like 90% of teams in this tournament are going to be focusing on just holding combo on a map like that, rather than can I get like 0 200s.
Anyways, now here comes Malaysia, and they're going to be picking Psychedelic Nova Trinity, the also original from OWC 2024. If I'm not mistaken, it's from the Grand Finals. Imagine collabing with yourself. Looking into artists.
Wait, are they the same person?
Yeah, Gram and DJ Genki are the same person.
Oh, I never actually knew that. Okay. One of the collabs of all time for sure.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Gram and DJ Genki are the same person. If this is the first time you knew that, well, now you know.
That's me. Now I know. Nice. This one's a bit longer, actually. This is a bit of a 3-minute pick compared to a lot of the other maps that we've seen so far in the match.
Yeah, like this is a really fun chart to play overall. Like that's what you'd expect really from what Stan makes. And I guess if there's any analog to this, we could look at qualifiers hybrid 1 for this World Cup, like in terms of difficulty at the very least.
And we'll see. Obviously, match point for South Korea. So Malaysia's going to be looking for 5 points in a row from this point.
Not the easiest job to do.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard. I think it more depends on South Korea more than anything else, because Malaysia, I think, has been doing a fantastic job overall. Like, they have been performing very well. It's just that South Korea have not given any kind of slight mistake over for Malaysia to be able to capitalize on so far.
Well, aside from what I would think are keyboard issues, as you mentioned, on one of the most unlikely picks for South Korea to concede.
But we'll see if there's anything that happens in this one. Bit of a longer map does actually mean that the accuracy does play a bit of a more important role when it comes to the score difference. And Dressup, off to a bit of a rough start. Yonhong as well, and YZ, all holding some pretty low accuracies. Oh, everyone,
Leo with an early miss. Leo with an early miss as well. Everyone did not find that combo. I mean, that intro, straightforward, they would think. The patterning here is pretty abrasive already. Like, this chart is coming into that territory where, at least Auto Jam analog, like, this would be in the high 40s, low 50s. Like, the patterning here gets pretty crazy already, as you already see the overlapping LNs, the stairs, and the accuracies, honestly speaking, are very close right now. And that's pretty much because of everyone not finding the intro easy, not finding a good start really on this chart.
Yeah, they all tanked a little bit, but it seems like they're stabilizing out, especially YZ, who's really pulling ahead once again. 99.5 just about to hit. But the combo at least is very, very slightly in favor of Malaysia, because Dressup did miss a little bit later than Neo did.
And honestly, like, I think I should have mentioned this earlier. This chart, given how everyone played the intro, this is pretty much a battle of like who recovers the best. And Yonhong with 3 consecutive misses, as I was like, they already got into a 99% accuracy. I mean, they got it back right now, but the 3 misses are not going to be helping them.
Yeah, that really did increase the score lead quite a lot for South Korea. I mean, the accuracy for Yonhong didn't dip that much. That's the bit of a silver lining there. But they really do need to start increasing their accuracy on the side of Malaysia to be able to catch up a little bit to South Korea. You can see Neo is actually still keeping up with Dressup, but YZ is kind of head and shoulders above everyone else right now. Actually does find a little bit of an accuracy drop for YZ there.
But it seems like everyone is still pretty stable at least. Dressup already at YZ's accuracy.
Oh, and Neo finds another miss there.
Yeah, it's their best combo as well, best accuracy. So that will just the lead here for South Korea. They'll just pull ahead, really.
And YZ is just tearing this up. For the past few maps, YZ has just kind of been unstoppable, it seems like. It looks like he is about to have the only FC once again at the end of this map. Yonhong does find one more miss at the end here, but it seems like it's just about done for this match.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, that's a really sizable advantage now, regardless of what happens, really. And South Korea will be advancing to the semifinals weekend. YZ, rough start, but still a full combo.
Full combo and highest stack in the lobby. YZ has been MVP in quite a few maps in a row at the end of this match, and South Korea manages to close it out 6-1. Malaysia did get that 1 point early on, but unfortunately not enough for a second, and Malaysia will be sent down into the losers bracket, while South Korea continues their path on to the semi-finals.
Yeah, and awaiting... They'll be the ones waiting, not awaiting them. They'll be the ones waiting for the winner of Japan and Indonesia.
Oh my god, I want to see that.
Yeah, whoever wins that, regardless, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty exciting matchup next weekend. But anyways, I think we'll be back tomorrow for New Zealand against Singapore. Again, because I'm not used to commentating this early in the weekend.
Yeah, I looked at the time, like, oh, 8 UTC, that's in like an hour and a half. No.
No, it's tomorrow.
No. It's in like 25 hours.
25 hours. Yeah. Like it's like before I do my obligatory stuff. Like, it's just funny to mention. Like we get here and then what after this, we're Yeah, ATTC. You mentioned. Oh, right, it's tomorrow. Right, it's the
Yeah.
Friday. Still need to go to work after this. But
Yeah.
anyways, before we go, we have one more thing to mention, and it's about supporting these teams that you see in the World Cup. So we have the OC Media 7K World Cup 2025 team support banners. They're up on the OC store. If you want to support your country or your players, or your favorite players' country, you may do so. They will appear on your profile. You can stack them. You could buy multiples of the same country's banners. The money will go to the prize pool. And also, if you happen to buy the banner of the winning team in this World Cup, it will stay on your profile until the next 7K World Cup. So, you
Yeah.
still have something to mention, Patasham?
Yeah, make sure you stack as many as you can. Support the team. Support all the teams, actually. And then you can force players, you can force everyone who visits your profile to scroll down to actually see anything else.
Yeah, someone already did it during the Catch World Cup.
Yeah, I remember
And
seeing that one.
yeah, someone put the Star Wars theme on it while they were scrolling through the banners. It was absolutely funny. Hopefully someone does that for every World Cup. But anyways, I don't think we should hold you guys longer. So
Yeah,
I'll let
we'll see you guys tomorrow for another set of great matches that are coming up this weekend.